Adobe Firefly is the all-in-one creative studio with AI-powered image and video editing for today's creative process. Built for creators of every kind, Firefly helps you generate, edit, and experiment fast. Because the asks aren't getting smaller, the budgets aren't getting bigger, and the timelines, oh yeah, still tight. With all the best creative AI models in one place, Firefly brings your ideas to life. Unlock a better way to make with Adobe Firefly.
Katz and Cosby, entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Let's go to Victoria Coates, I think, is on now.
Hi, Victoria, former Deputy National Security Advisor under President Trump. Victoria, boy, there's a lot to talk about. Some of these details about the Iran deal just came out like an hour ago. What do you make of it?
Well, yeah, just a little bit to talk about today.
Yeah, just a little bit, right?
No, I kind of want to have the president come out and read the whole deal as he said he was going to today.
By the way, before we go further, John, you and I were talking over the weekend. You got a shout out from the president. You got a big shout out.
Congratulations,
true.
Victoria.
According to President Trump, I'm absolutely fantastic. So I would like you, every time you introduce me, it should be as the absolutely fantastic Victoria.
All right, Rita, make sure you
I will do. Where's the applause? Hang on one second. Where's the applause so we can make sure that we're absolutely correct here? Hold on. Here it is for you.
The absolutely fantastic Victoria Coates is coming on.
There she is. The crowd.
It's how I sign all my texts to my children now. They're just like, no, stop, Mom, stop. But no, I mean, what we continue to have is a lot of swirl, a lot of churn about this deal. I think what the president is doing, John, is responding to a lot of your concerns from a couple of weeks ago. This needed to end. The blockade needed to end. And I think that the calculus is on the part of the administration that the damage that's been done to Iran is so severe in terms of the economic damage, the damage to their oil production facilities, the damage to their military, the damage to their nuclear program, that it almost doesn't matter what's in this deal. This is an MOU. The MOUs have been violated 6 ways from Sunday by everybody, including, the Russians with their Bucharest memorandum about Ukraine. This is not a binding document in any way. And so I would look at what the president's done. He's destroyed their military. He's decimated their nuclear program. Their economy is in shambles. They can't recover. The American people are ready to look domestically right now. And, my main concern is Israel. We can get into that. Heading there on Friday, along with your good friend, Sid Rosenberg, for the JNS conference. And, but I think we're on a good trajectory, and too many people are freaking out with not a lot of information.
So, Victoria, explain to everybody, and this was the thing I think that President Trump was heralding you about. Explain the difference between this and the Obama JCPOA, because President Trump keeps saying this is not the JCPOA. It is different. And can you explain it for everybody listening?
I can. And unfortunately for Senator Reid, I was also serving in the Senate as Senator Cruz's national security advisor when Senator Reid was one of the great proponents of the JCPOA. And he's indulging in some revisionist history, as is President Obama. The first thing that's different is there's going to be a signing ceremony. And that is a big deal. That is putting the facts of whatever this agreement is out in front of the American people. And the president has talked about sending it up to the Congress for approval. For an MOU, you don't have to do that. For a more binding agreement, you would have to do that. And he is signaling his readiness to send that up to the representatives of the American people. Nobody ever signed the JCPOA. Nobody signed anything. John Kerry didn't sign it. President Obama didn't sign it. No Iranian signed it. It was implemented by the United Nations Security Council, which is not sovereign U.S. law the last time I looked. So that's a huge difference, number one. Difference number two, no pallets of cash, no economic relief up front. The Iranians have to do stuff to get any economic relief. And oh, by the way, the economic relief that's being put out there isn't the kind of relief that took the Iranian economy over $500 billion a year GDP under President Obama and over $400 billion a year GDP under President Biden. This is very minor, what they're talking about releasing, and only after they take material steps. And then the third thing is that nuclear stuff is going to come out of Iran. That never happened under the Obama deal. And under the Obama deal, they had the ability to start creating these very sophisticated centrifuges, which is what our B-2 bombers took out in Midnight Hammer last June. And then we're going to figure out what we're going to do about the nuclear dust. What's the best, sort of path forward with that? It's complicated, it's hard, but the president has signaled he's willing to do it, to get it out of their hands. There are three big things that make this totally, totally different.
Victoria, you talked about the signing. Will Congress play a role in this? I guess my other big question is, what happens in 2028 if it's a different president? Could they just say, okay, we'll rip it up?
Right, that's exactly it. So the MOU is just that. It's a memorandum of agreement. As I was saying, that's not the final deal. When the president gets to the final deal, when his red lines are met, and it's satisfactory, I would be very enthusiastic about sending that to the Senate to see if we can get it passed as a treaty. And even the exercise of attempting to do that will have value. But even better, Rita, if we can get it passed as a treaty, then it's binding. Then it's not an executive order. It's not some random thing through the UN Security Council. It's something that's essentially passed into U.S. law. If you want to reverse it, you got to get it passed back out. And that is a lot harder to do.
Yeah, but it comes down to who's going to be the president after 28. Because anybody could do anything, and that's it. And
they can't, John. They can't if it's been passed. It's like the NATO treaty. They have to go back to the Congress and get it reversed. They can't strike it the way you can in an executive order. That's why this is important.
The president at that time doesn't want to do anything, and Iran is building up, atomic bombs, and the future president doesn't want to do anything. What are you going to do,
Victoria?
Well, I know. I mean, but
silence is golden.
The president will be legally obligated to enforce the deal,
and Congress could hold him accountable, right?
Sure, exactly.
I'm sure
it would be like President Trump saying, "I'm not going to."
Obligated.
Right.
But he wasn't. But the thing is, in this case, it would be like President Trump saying, "I just say I'm not legally obligated to abide by the NATO charter."
Gavin Newsom would say it.
Well, I mean, they might say it, but then we have a whole series of other issues on our hands.
Absolutely.
And I
just want every listener out there, we got millions of listeners out there, to understand the treaty is only as good as the toughness of the president of the United States.
Well, that is the case, and that is why I think we're going to be talking a whole lot over the next couple of years. I'm actually on the senior management retreat of the Heritage Foundation right now, talking about how we're going to prepare not only for 2026, which is on us obviously in a couple of months, but 2028, and what we can do to try to make this a good election for us. Because as with every single election we have, and I think this is a critical point, it's the most important one of our lifetime. Each one is.
Yes, it is.
It's not just one. It's each one.
Yeah, and this is a biggie.
Victoria, we love you, and the President of the United States thinks you're fantastic. What else can we have?
Yeah, I know. And your kids do, too.
Travel safe to Israel.
Yeah. Oh,
thank you.
By the way, you should call us from there, Victoria.
If you can.
Yeah.
I'll be happy to.
Thank you so
check
much.
in and we'll figure out a good time.
Thank you.